Hello, everybody. How is it going today? It is Tyler here with Zone In Sports, bringing you today's video. And today, we will be zoning in on the upcoming 2022-23 NFL season, as well as some picks for Week 1. But before we get to those, we will go over the division odds, some win totals, and some other futures bets here. We'll go through each division and, go over which team I think will win in each division, as well as, a few win totals I like in each of them as well. So, let's go ahead and hop straight into it, man. We will start in the AFC, the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens are the favorites at plus 145, followed by the Bengals at plus 170, Browns plus 370, and Steelers at plus 950. Win totals for the Ravens is 10.5. Bengals at 9.5, Browns at 8.5, Steelers at 7.5. And you see the records from last season as well. The Bengals did win the North last year, and the Steelers did make the playoffs as a wild card team. But yeah, I'm expecting a big bounce back from the Ravens this year. They were just not healthy at all last season. Huge year from Mark Andrews, though, expecting him to do a lot more of the same this year. And then the run game should be better once again as long as everyone stays healthy. I think Lamar's going to be out there trying to prove it, as he's been dealing with some contract issues lately, trying to get an extension. So I think he's going to go out there and ball out this year. I think the Ravens will win the North this year at plus 145. That is my pick there. Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year. It was a good run and all, but I think they get brought back to reality this year. They're still going to be a team battling for a wild card spot, but the North's going to go to the Ravens this year. As far as win totals in this division, first one I want to look at will be the Browns at 8.5. I'm not going to mess with the Ravens or Bengals at all. I think they'll be right around that 9-10 mark. I think the Ravens could get to 11, but that is tough to bet on a team to be a whole 3 wins better from last season. Could happen, especially something that I would like to happen considering I got them winning the division. And 11 wins would definitely get the job done there. Possibly 10 though. You see Bengals won it with 10 last year. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over the Browns here. 8.5. I'm going to go under those 8.5 wins. Now, before Deshaun's suspension got changed, they were actually set at 9.5. The number was not up until they released the 6-game suspension. Then they put up the 9.5. Juice to the under still is minus 160. I'm still going to take it even at a win less. We'll go through the schedule real quick and you will definitely understand why. So, they open at Carolina, and I think Carolina will actually beat them. I think Baker, who is someone I actually don't like at all, I just don't think he's a good quarterback. But either way, for his story here, I think that he will get the job done in Week 1 and beat the Browns. I just don't see the team without Deshaun being able to keep up with some other teams. Yeah, the run game will be good, but how good? And, they got a good defense, so they could do all right without Deshaun, but the schedule is pretty tough. So we'll give them a loss in Week 1. We'll give them a win there in Week 2 against the Jets. They possibly get the Steelers at home in Week 3. I'll leave that one up in the air. For sure, win number 2 at Atlanta. And then they go on a tough stretch here before Deshaun comes back. You go Chargers, Patriots, at the Ravens, and you got Bengals at the Dolphins, at the Bills, and then you host the Buccaneers. So yeah, there's a good chance that you lose 7 in a row leading up to Deshaun's return in Week 13 at Houston. Now, will they actually lose all 7 of those games? Probably not, but they could lose at least 5 of those, maybe 6. So either way, we'll call it. I only gave them the 2 wins against New York and Atlanta, but let's say they're at least 3 when you get to Week 13, and that's when Deshaun comes back. So you get win number 4 at Houston. You go to Cincy and lose. 2 home games between Baltimore and the Saints. Maybe you possibly split those to get win number 5. and then you finish at Washington and at Pittsburgh. You probably split those. Maybe you get both. Let's say even if you get both, that still lands you at 7 wins. That's well under that 8.5, man. So I think 7 wins is like the most possible for this team. I don't think they get any more than 7. So under 8.5 for Cleveland, man. That's book it, man. Easy. We'll move over to the Steelers now. And real quick, in my college video, I mentioned I'm a Michigan fan. Now, in the NFL video, I will have to put out there I am a Steelers fan, huge Steelers fan. And no, I'm not a bandwagon. Yes, I'm born and raised in Michigan, still live here. And not a Lions fan, luckily. But I did not hop on any sort of bandwagon. If you don't believe me, I can pull out a picture of me at about 12 to 18 months old in a Cordell Stewart jersey. So don't make me bring that out, because I will. Basically, real quick, my dad, his parents weren't huge sports fans when he was growing up, and he grew up in the 70s, so as like a 5-year-old, he decided that he wanted to root for the Steelers, and hey, it worked out for me in the long run, so I'll take it. Just don't call me bandwagon. But either way, Steelers win total, over-under 7.5. Last year it was 8.5. I took the over, and it hit, barely, but hey, it hit. So we're going to go ahead and go over again this season. 7.5, man. This disrespecting Mike Tomlin. I know we don't got Big Ben anymore, but other than that, we should be better. Our O-line was completely terrible last year. You had a couple guys with Mason Cole and then the tackle. It's like, if they can at least be a step better, then I think I like our chances. And we're talking about a team a couple of years ago that went 8-8 with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph as our quarterbacks. Like, the defense will definitely carry the workload. They will definitely get us some wins. Definitely will earn more wins than the offense will. As long as the offense is just good enough, which we have the weapons for it, but can the line hold up and will our quarterback play be there? I mean, I think it'll be there enough to get to 8 wins. I mean, come on. Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Never had a losing season. Don't bet on it to start now. Let's go through the schedule. So week 1, you open at Cincy. That's tough. We lost both games to Cincy last year, so I'm just going to count that as a loss. Week 2, we host the Patriots. That's going to be a tough game, but since it's in Pittsburgh, I'm going to count it as a win. And then at Cleveland in week 3, that could go either way. With no Deshaun, I like the Steelers' chances to get win number 2 there, but I'm not going to count it yet. We'll leave that one up in the air. Might add it at the end. So we'll go win number 2 against the Jets. We'll go to Buffalo and probably lose. We did beat them last year, though. But yeah, we'll lose that one this year. We host the Buccaneers. Tough one there. Not going to count it as a win. Then I believe the next 2, we go to Miami and to Philly. I think we get at least one of those, if not both of those. So we'll go with 3 wins there. And then we got a bye week. And then we got home games with the Saints and Bengals. I like to think we get at least one of those 2, possibly both. So that will give us 4, maybe 5. And then you got at the Colts will count as a loss, but we usually play against the Colts pretty well. I'm just high on the Colts this year. So then we go to Atlanta for win number 6. And then you have 2 games against Baltimore at the end of the year. We usually always split with them. So we'll give us the home game against Baltimore. That's 7. Then you go to Carolina. I'm going to count that as number 8 right there. And then we probably lose at Baltimore. But between the 2 home games between the Raiders and the Browns, that could get you win number 9. But that's the thing. We don't need 9. We just got over 7.5. That's 8 wins. Possibly 9. Possibly 10 for this team. Like, you really never know. When you got a defense as good as they do, and you get all that pressure on the quarterback, create turnovers and whatnot, try to make it a little easier on that offense, Just really worried about the O-line. But when it comes to this win total, 7.5, just go over for the Steelers, man. Minus 105. Remember, these odds are from FanDuel, by the way. But yeah, got the Ravens to win the division there in the North, plus 145. Then you got Browns under 8.5 wins. Steelers over 7.5 wins. And now we will go ahead and move on to the AFC East. You got the Buffalo Bills as the favorites at minus 230. They won the division last year. You got the Dolphins at plus 450, Patriots plus 500, and Jets at plus 2,000. Dolphins and Patriots are both set at 8.5 wins, with the Bills at 11.5, Jets at 5.5. So the Patriots went 10-7 last year, making the playoffs as a wild card team. The Dolphins just missed out, going 9-8, and the Jets were 4-13, which is pretty bad. So to win the division here, I got the Bills for sure. I definitely got the Bills winning the division. I think that might be my team to win the Super Bowl possibly. So yeah, of course you're not going to straight bet a minus 230, but I ran a round robin that I will show in the video at the end probably. Well, I'll probably show it before I get into the week 1 picks. But yeah, I ran a round robin with all 8 divisions, all winners for all 8 divisions, you know what I mean? So it wasn't nothing to throw minus 230 Bills in there. But if you're straight betting it, maybe take a flyer on the Dolphins. I don't hate that because that's a team that could really go crazy this year. I mean, that offense could be really good. It's a team to look out for, a team I think will possibly make the playoffs as a wild card team. So yeah, Bills winning that division there in the East. As far as win totals, I'm only going to go over one of them here. And that's going to be the New York Jets, under 5.5, and that's actually plus 125, so great value there, under 5.5 wins for the Jets. They went 4-13 last year. I don't see any way that they are able to be 2 wins better this season. I just don't see it. We'll go through the schedule real quick. They open with the Ravens. That's a loss. Then you go to Cleveland. Who knows? Maybe you can find some sort of way to steal it without Deshaun, but Cleveland's still definitely the better team. Not going to count it as a win. Then you play Cincy. Then you're at Pittsburgh. You get all 4 of your AFC North games out of the way at the beginning of the year. There's a good chance you lose all 4, but for the sake of this, I'll give them one of those 4. So then you host Miami. That's a loss. You go to Green Bay and Denver, more losses. You host the Patriots and Bills, more losses. Then you go to New England, another loss. You get win number 2 against Chicago. Then you go to Minnesota and Buffalo for more losses. Then you host Detroit and Jacksonville. For the sake of this, I'll give them one of those 2, most likely Jacksonville, because I think Detroit will definitely get them. So either way, that's 3 wins. You got 2 games left, Seattle and Miami. Even if you win both, that's 5. But really, I think they're 4-13 again this year. Under 5.5, man, great value. Plus 125, under 5.5 on the Jets. Take that all day. All right, let's move along to the AFC South. Probably the weakest division in the AFC here. The Colts are your favorites at minus 125. Titans plus 170. Jaguars plus 750 and Texans plus 2,500. Colts and Titans are both set at 9.5 wins. Jaguars at 6.5. Texans at 4.5. This just kind of blows my mind. I don't understand why the Jags and Texans odds are so different. Like Jaguars 750 for the division. Texans 2,500. Like I could understand the Texans being slightly longer odds, but not that much longer. Like the Jags shouldn't be any shorter than plus 1,000. And then the Jaguars being at 6.5 wins is insane. You're telling me that you think the Jaguars are going to be a whole 4 wins better than they were last year? Where? Like, yeah, Urban Meyer's gone. You get a full season without that crap show around. So, I mean, yeah, I could see them being at least 1, maybe 2 wins better, but 4 wins better? That's tough. Real quick, to win the division before I get into any win totals, I got the Colts, man. They choked last year, that last wild card spot, final week of the season, losing to those Jaguars who I was just talking crap about. But, yeah, I mean, the Colts got to win the division this year. The Titans are going to take a step back. They don't have A.J. Brown on offense now. Derrick Henry, I mean, how long can you lean on this guy to carry you to the playoffs? I don't know. The defense isn't great by any means, but they're not terrible. If anything, they're a little bit better up front against the pass anyways. Against the run, not so much. DBs, it's tough. But, I mean, you don't got to be that great of a defense in this division. But either way, man, the Colts are a team that do have a great defense, I think. So, yeah, Colts minus 125 to win the division there. Going to go ahead and take their over the 9.5 wins as well. It is minus 160. And it is one that I don't feel great about. But if I like them to win the division, I probably need them to get to win 10 wins there. We'll go through their schedule real fast. They open with a couple easy ones at Houston, at Jacksonville. Let's just hope that they get the 2 wins there. And then you play at home against Kansas City and Tennessee. So Kansas City, I'm not sure what to expect from this year. Their defense is usually a little slow to start the year. Don't know what the offense will look like without Tyreek. I still think it'll be very high-powered, though. I'm not expecting much of a step back from that offense. It's just, what is the defense going to do in Week 3? Really not sure on that. We won't count it as a win. I will give them Tennessee, though, at home. So that's 3 wins. At Denver, I think they could go get that one. I really think they could go get that one. I'm not very high on Denver this year like a lot of people are. But I'm not going to count it just because it's on the road. Win number 4 there against Jacksonville. You go to Tennessee and probably lose, but I think they could clean sweep the division this year. But yeah, we'll stick them at 4 wins for now. Win number 5 against the Washington Commanders. And then you play at New England and at Vegas. So there's a chance you lose both, but I'm going to say they split between them 2. Give them at least 1. That's 6. And then you host the Eagles and the Steelers. You'd like to think that you get at least one of those 2, possibly both. I'm going to give them at least 1. That's 7 wins. Then you go to Dallas and go to the Vikings again. Probably going to possibly win both, but we'll give them a split there. That's 8 wins. And then you just got to get 2 more between the Chargers, the Giants, and Texans. So they most likely get the Giants and the Texans, my bad. So that would get you the 10 wins. And then, who knows, maybe they do get the Chargers. That's 11. They could beat Tennessee both times. They could beat Kansas City. They could go to Denver and win. There's a chance this team could only win 9. There's a chance they win 10. I could see them win 12 or 13. You really never know, man. Nobody knows nothing. Just getting this season going, man, is going to be fun. But, yeah, Colts over 9.5. I just gave you 10 wins right there, man. I gave you 10. Possibly 11. But, yeah, Colts to win that division at minus 125. Over 9.5 wins, minus 160. And then 1 more win total here in the South. We will go to Jacksonville. 6.5 wins, like I was saying, man. There's no way this team can be 4 wins better this year. I just don't see it at all. So, when you go under 6.5 wins, let's go ahead and go through it. Which games do they win? Okay, at Washington in Week 1, that's a loss. You lose to Indianapolis. You lose at the Chargers. You lose at the Eagles. I think they might lose both to Houston, but apparently everyone thinks Jacksonville is much better than Houston this year, so we'll give Jacksonville at least the game at home against them. So that's 1 win. You lose to Indy again. We'll give them a win against the Giants, even though I think the Giants would actually beat them, but that's 2 wins. You're going to lose to Denver. I think that game's in London or Germany or somewhere, but you're going to go over there and lose. You lose to the Raiders. You lose to the Chiefs. You lose to the Ravens. You go to Detroit, and I think they lose that. I think they lose at Detroit. But for this video, I will give them win number 3 there. We're in week 13. That's just the third win I've gave them. At Tennessee, you lose. You host Dallas, lose. At New York. I mean, you could lose that game, but I'm going to go ahead and give them win number 4. And even if I do that and give them win number 5 and win number 6 to end the year, that's still under 6.5. But they're not going to go win at Houston. They're going to split with them. They probably split with Tennessee too. Maybe they lose both of those. Basically, best case scenario, I think, for Jacksonville is 6 wins. And that still puts you under that 6.5. But realistically, I think they only win 4, possibly 5, but I got them at 4 wins. So under 6.5 wins for the Jaguars this year. That's minus 135. All right, moving on over to the AFC West. So this is probably one of the best divisions, if not the best, in football. You got the Chiefs as the favorites at plus 155, the Chargers at plus 240, Broncos at plus 260, and then the Raiders at plus 700. You got the Chiefs at 10.5 wins, Chargers at a flat 10, Broncos at 9.5, Raiders 8.5. So last year, the Chiefs won the division, and the Raiders, of course, and Chargers had that tough game at the end of the year, in which the winner would go on to make the wild card. If they would have had a tie, they would have both made it. But instead, the Raiders won that game in overtime. And yeah, I think this is the year the Chargers will take off, and they will go ahead and take over this division, man. Look at the odds. Why are they only half a win less? But then you got plus 155 for the Chiefs, plus 240 for the Chargers. That tells me a little something there. But yeah, I got the Chargers winning the West this year. I love Herbert a lot, man. That defense, as long as this team can stay healthy. I mean, so many weapons on offense. I believe they also added Sonny Michel to go behind Austin Eckler out there. And, you know, the receivers with Keenan Allen, Mike Will. They always got some good tight ends, Parham. Man, I like this Chargers team a lot, man. I think they get it done. Plus 240 to win the West. But yeah, looking at the win totals in this division, the Chiefs, I'm not going to mess with that over-under. But for the Chargers to win the division, I probably need the Chiefs to go under. But that's the thing. I think the Chiefs could get to 11 and the Chargers could get to 12 and still get the division. So I'm not going to mess with the Chiefs win total at all. Chargers definitely going over the 10 there, minus 140. Let's go ahead and run through their schedule real quick. Let's say they split all the division games. So that would put them at 3-3. And I think there's a chance they could possibly get both against Denver. But for this sake, we'll go 3 wins against the division. And then, let's see. You got Jacksonville and Houston. So they get an easy draw with the AFC South here. So that's wins 4 and number 5. And then at Cleveland, I think they win for sure. That's win number 6. I mean, they won't have Deshaun at that point, and the Chargers, I think, are just a better team regardless of if Deshaun's playing or not. They're just a better team. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go ahead and give them number 7 against the Seahawks. I mean, come on. That's 7. Number 8 against the Falcons. I'll give them number 9 against the Cardinals. I think they're definitely better than them. You also go to San Francisco, which you could win, but I'm not going to count it. And you probably get the Dolphins and the Titans. Yeah, I mean, I just rattled off 10 easy. So I think they get at least 11 wins there. Possibility of 12. So either way, you go over the 10, and I think they get 11 for sure. Even if they hit that 10, yeah, you know, at least you get the push. It's not a loss, but nobody wants to bet for a push. But yeah, I just rattled off 11 wins for you. I think they could get 12. So yeah, go over to 10 wins for the Chargers. And also in this division, I like the Broncos to go under the 9.5, which is solid value there, plus 115. So last year they went 7-10. So for this over to hit, they would have to be 3 wins better. So last year in this division they were 1-5. So that's tough. So let's assume that they split this year. I don't think they're going to split. I think they actually might go 2-4 in the division. But let's just say they split as far as going through their win total here, going through their schedule. That'd give them 2 more wins, but they got to be 3 wins better. So we'll go ahead and run through Broncos' schedule. They'll get the win week 1 at Seattle. I mean, come on, Russ redemption game. He's going to put on a show, Monday Night Football. That's win number 1. Then they win number 2 against the Texans. Then I got them losing to the 49ers. And I think that they could win against the Colts because it's at home. But I think the Colts really might come in there and get that one. So I'll leave that up in the air for now. Then at the Chargers, you're going to lose. Probably beat the Jets and the Jaguars. So that's wins 3 and 4. At Tennessee, they could win, but I'm going to leave that one up in the air. We get win number 5 at Carolina. You're going to lose to Baltimore. Possibly lose to Arizona. That could be a good game there. At the Rams, you're going to lose for sure. Lose at the Chiefs. End the year hosting the Chargers. You could get that one. But either way, I'm only counting about 8 wins. I think this team probably goes 8-9. So yeah, they got a very tough schedule, man. Other than Houston and Seattle, like the NFC West is a tough draw there. I just don't see it. I don't see 10 wins. I don't see how you can take over 9.5 wins for these Broncos. Like, I'm not even going to say best case scenario 9 wins. I think best case scenario for them is 8 wins. That is a tough schedule, man. That's brutal. Good luck, Broncos fans. I know everyone's high on you because you got Russ, but Russ ain't going to come in there and just make you a playoff team again. So yeah, that'll do it for the AFC. The Raiders, real quick, man, they are at 8.5. I would actually think their chances of winning 9 games are better than the Broncos for sure. So maybe consider the Raiders over 8.5 there. I'm not going to go through their schedule, but looking at it real quick, I definitely think they have a more clear path to 9 wins than the Broncos do. Of course, they play all like the same teams, but just like who you draw at home will matter, man, and like the primetime games. Just pay attention to that kind of stuff. But yeah, so officially in the West there, we had Chargers plus 240 to win that division, and then over 10 wins for the Chargers and under 9.5 for the Broncos. All right, let's go ahead and move over to the NFC, and we'll start with the NFC North. Got the Green Bay Packers as your favorites at minus 155, Vikings at plus 240, Lions plus 950, and Bears plus 1200. For the win totals, you got the Packers at 10.5, Vikings at 9.5, the Lions at 6.5, and the Bears at 5.5. So, to win this division, I am going to go with the Minnesota Vikings at plus 240. Now, if you looked a month ago, the Vikings were more like plus 300, maybe even longer than that. And I wish I would have got in on it then, but, a lot of people thinking the way I am with the Vikings as it moved to plus 240. Definitely like that there for them to win the division. As far as the win totals, I'm not going to mess with the Packers 10.5. So, if anything, I would actually lean under. It's just I can't bet on an Aaron Rodgers-led team to be a whole 3 wins worse just because they lost Davante Adams. Other than that, it's pretty much the same team. Should be more healthy on the O-line this year. I mean, Aaron Jones is a dog. A.J. Dillon's real good. I think Allen Lazard due to possibly have a really good year. I mean, yeah, there are some young receivers other than him, but I just don't see them taking a huge drop off just because Devontae Adams is gone. You're still playing in the NFC North, and you still have a solid defense. But as far as division goes, man, I like the Vikings to win it. So since I got that, I'm going to go ahead and go Vikings over the 9.5 wins. That's at -110. So 8-9 last year, that means they'd have to be 2 wins better, which I definitely can see happening. We'll go ahead and look at their schedule. We got to find 10 wins here for these Vikings. So you open week 1 against Green Bay. You get them at home for this first one. So I'm actually going to go ahead and give the Vikings this win. I think they split with Green Bay this season. They get the first one in Minnesota. Later on in the year, they play at Green Bay. They'll probably lose that one there at the end of the year. But we'll give them this first one in week 1. Then you're going to go to Philly in week 2. That'd be a really good game, I think. They could get it. I'll leave it up in the air for now. And then you play the Lions at home. We'll give that win number 2. You get the Saints, which I think is probably win number 3. I think that game is overseas, possibly. Somewhere over there. I know they got a few of them this season. And then win number 4 against the Bears. You go to Miami, a game I think they can win for sure, but I'm not going to count it. Bye week. Then you host Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to count that as win number 5. They get win number 6 against the Commanders. You go to Buffalo and lose that one. Then you host the Cowboys and the Patriots. You're going to get at least one of those, possibly both. And then you get the Jets. That's 8 wins right there. So we're at 8. I'm going to give them a loss at Detroit in week 14, even though that's a game they could definitely get. And then you host the Colts, which I think they can get them. But even if they don't, they'll get the Giants in the week after that. And then between Green Bay and Chicago at the end of the year, you at least get Chicago for win number 10. I think they get 10 wins for sure. That's 10 right there. And, possibly 11. But, yeah. Vikings to win the North. Over 9.5 wins. Another over in this division. We go over to the Detroit Lions. Now, yeah, I know I'm always talking about how can I take a team to be so many wins better or so many wins worse. Here's one right here, the Lions. 3-13-1 last year. Win total's at 6.5, so that means they'd have to win 4 more games than they did last year. And I think they will get the job done. Looking at the schedule, I think that they will lose in week 1 to the Eagles, who I'm very high on this year. But in week 2, the Commanders come to town, and the Lions will be mad about that first loss at home in week 1. So they got to give the fans a good showing in week 2. They get the win against the Commanders. Then you go to the Vikings and lose. You host the Seahawks and win number 2 there. You're going to go lose to the Patriots and most likely lose to the Cowboys as well, even though I think the Cowboys are going to stink. And then you host the Dolphins and the Packers. Probably lose both of them. Who knows? Maybe they get Miami if Miami can't figure it out, but I'm not counting on that. Then you go to Chicago. I think they will get both against Chicago this year. I think they are definitely the better team there, as long as the defense can hold up and Justin Fields doesn't, keep up with them. So that's win number 3. You go to the Giants. I'm going to give that win number 4. That should be a good ball game. One they definitely could lose, but I think the Lions will be a better team than the Giants this year, just slightly. Then you're going to lose to Buffalo, of course. And then I think they beat Jacksonville at home. Probably lose to Minnesota at home, but you could get that one. And then you go to the Jets. I think they get the win there. I think they go to Carolina and possibly win that one. But even if they don't, like I said earlier, I think they get Chicago both times this year. So that would put you at 7 right there. And then who knows, Green Bay the last week of the year, if they have the division, Or if they're not playing for anything, maybe they only play their starters a quarter. Who knows? You could win that game and even get to 8 wins. But I think the Lions definitely will get to 7. Over 6.5 there. Gets you minus 125. Decent value. Not great value, but good enough for sure. Go over 6.5 wins with the Detroit Lions. And we will move on to my last team from this division, the Chicago Bears. That's right, I just said they could lose to the Lions both times this year. That's one of the main reasons I am going with the Bears under 5.5 wins this year. And that's solid odds there, plus 125. Under 5.5 for the Bears. So that means they would have to win one less game than they did last year when they went 6-11. And yeah, I don't see this team being any better than they were last year. If anything, I think they'll actually be a little bit worse. So we'll go through their schedule real quick. You're going to lose your first 2 games against the 49ers and the Packers. You'll win one probably against the Texans, but I wouldn't even count on that super heavily. We'll give it to them since they're at home. That's one win. You go to the Giants. You possibly steal that win there, but I'm not going to give it to them. You lose to the Vikings. You lose to the Commanders. You lose to the Patriots and the Cowboys and the Dolphins and the Lions. You beat the Falcons for win number 2. There you go. And heck, we'll give you win number 3 against the Jets. You're going to lose to Green Bay again. You lose to Philly. You lose to Buffalo. Even if you do get one against Detroit, that's 4. You lose to Minnesota. So that's 4 wins. I think best case scenario is 4 wins for the Bears this year. I'm surprised that their win total was actually at 5.5. I thought it was going to be 4.5, which I still would have went under. I think this team possibly could win only 2 or 3 games. Yeah, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but with that value, plus 125, under 5.5 wins for the Bears, you just gotta take it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move along now over to the NFC East. And your favorites to win that division are the Cowboys, followed by the Eagles. They're actually both plus 145 now. When I made my round robin, I actually got in on the Eagles at plus 170. So I think the Cowboys were, plus 115 or 125 at that time. Either way, still love the Eagles at plus 145. I got them at 170. Whatever number you get them at, just take it. I definitely think the Eagles win the NFC East this year. Remember, they did sneak in with the wild card spot into the playoffs with that 9-8 record last year. The Cowboys, of course, won the division. And one thing to mention, I'm sure if you listen to shows like this, you've probably heard multiple times by now. I've heard it a lot the last couple of years, but the NFC East has not had a repeat winner in a good amount of years. I think it's 15 to 20 years, which basically means whoever won the previous year does not win the next year. It's always a different winner each year. So Cowboys won it last year. That means get them out of there. I'm down on them regardless of that trend anyways, and I'm high on the Eagles, so that's why we take Eagles to win the NFC East here. And I do have, I did take the win total on all 4 of these teams. I'm going under 10.5 on the Cowboys. I'll go ahead and run through their schedule real quick. I'm going to try to go a little bit quicker with these ones, especially since I'm doing this entire division. Here we go, Cowboys schedule. Got them under 10.5 wins. So, which ones do I think they win? I think they get the Giants. I'll give them splitting with the Commanders. I think they get the Giants both times. We'll give them 2 there. I think there's a chance that they lose to Philly both times, but for the sake of this, we'll give them one of those. So that's splitting in the division. That's 3 wins. And then out of the division, I think they could get... We'll give them win number 4 against the Lions, win number 5 against the Bears. You probably lose back-to-back at Green Bay, at Minnesota. That's tough. You'll beat the Texans for sure. Should beat Jacksonville. That's win number 7. And then you could beat Tennessee, but it's at Tennessee, so that's tough. But even if you get that, that's 8. So that's 8 wins. We're talking they could get 2 more, and we're still okay. Like, I don't know. I don't see 11 wins. Now, I don't know. The under is minus 160, so a little juicy there, but come on. I just gave you 8 wins. They can get 2 more than what I gave, and you're still good. Cowboys under 10.5 wins this year, man. Book it. Let's just book that and move on to the Eagles, who I have going over the 9.5 wins, minus 145 there. So let's take a look at their schedule. They open at Detroit. That's a win. Then you host the Vikings. That's a game that could go either way. Since it's at home, I think I'll go ahead and give the Eagles the win there. You go to Washington. I think they win it, but I'm going to not count it for now. And let's go win 3 at Jacksonville. Well, hosting Jacksonville, that is. At Arizona, I think that's a team they could beat, but since it's at Arizona, I'm not going to count it as a win. We'll give them the home game against Dallas. That's win number 4. Bye week. Maybe coming out of your bye week, maybe you go ahead and beat Pittsburgh. That's going to be a tough game. I'm not going to count it right now. We'll give them win number 5 against the Texans. Win number 6 as they host Washington. Colts, that's a tough one. I'm not going to count it. Green Bay, not going to give them that. It is at home, though, so you never know. We'll give them win number 7 against the Titans. That's a home game. At the Giants, I'm giving them that. That's win number 8. At the Bears, that's win number 9. And then you got to win at least one of your last 3 at Dallas. And then you host the Saints and the Giants. So they definitely get the Giants. That'll get you 10. That gets you over. I think this team could win 11 games for sure. All we need is 10. I just gave them to you. Over 9.5 wins there for the Eagles at minus 145. That's also my division winner there. I got them plus 170, plus 145 now. Still take it. And I'm also going to go under the 8.5 for the Washington Commanders. Not going to go through the schedule, though. Carson Wentz, I just don't think he's like a winning QB. Like, he's not like super terrible by any means, but the way he plays just doesn't translate to winning games. And their defense in Washington is just not that great. They were pretty solid a couple of years ago, but lots of injuries lately, and who knows, if they can stay healthy, maybe they're all right. I mean, anything can happen in the NFC East. This division's nuts. And then Giants, 7.5, going under there as well, minus 145. I mean, we're talking about a team that went 4-13 last year. And you're telling me you think they're going to double their win total? What did they do? Yeah, new coaching staff, whatever, Maybe Saquon stays healthy for a full season if he's lucky. I mean, I'd like to see it. I love Saquon. Would like to see him stay healthy for a whole year. But even if he does, that doesn't mean that they get 8 wins. I mean, I think under 7.5 is easy money for the Giants there. Not going to go through the schedule. We'll go ahead and move on to the next division now. And the next division is the NFC South. So you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the favorite, of course. Minus 270, plus 300 for the Saints, plus 1,500 for the Panthers. I think I messed up the graphic there. It says 1,550, but I think it's plus 1,500 for the Panthers. Plus 3,000 for the Falcons. Win totals got the Bucs at 11.5, Saints 8.5, Panthers 6.5, and Falcons 4.5. So, yeah, I am not going to mess with the Buccaneers win total here, but I am going to take them to win the division. Minus 270, of course not a straight play, but remember, I made a round robin, which I will show as we wrap up these last couple of divisions. But yeah, Buccaneers winning that division for sure. I think the Saints could challenge them as long as Jameis can play good and stay healthy. Like, their defense will definitely be really good, and I like Michael Thomas coming back. Kamara should be able to hopefully play all year. But yeah, Buccaneers winning that division. I think they'll be right at 11 or 12 wins, probably more towards the 12 side, so I'd lean that over, but I'm not going to mess with it. One win total I am going to take here is going to be the Saints over the 8.5 wins, and that is minus 130. Let's go ahead and look through their schedule real quick. And they will get the win here in week 1 against the Falcons for sure. So in the division real quick, I think you win both against the Falcons. I think the Saints could possibly win both against Carolina, but I'm going to give them a split just for this. And I'll even split them with the Buccaneers. They usually actually play good against them. So that actually gives you 4-2 with the 2 wins against Atlanta. So that's 4 wins in division. So let's see where we can get 5 more out of the division. Seattle, I think they get for sure. That'll be win number 5. You host Cincy, so maybe you can get Cincy since you got them at home. But I think Cincy is still slightly a better team than them, so I'm not going to count it. You host the Raiders and the Ravens in back-to-back weeks, so you got to think you get at least 1 there. That's 6. You go to Pittsburgh. That's a game they could definitely win. Not going to count it for now. You host the Rams. That's tough. You go to San Fran. Another tough one. You get the Falcons. Well, we already counted that as another win. At Cleveland. Deshaun will be back for that one, but I think they are able to win that. So that's 8. So I think they have like 8 for sure wins. So to get them over that 8.5, they would have to win a game like a Philly game. You'd have to win maybe one of San Fran or Los Angeles or Pittsburgh, which, I mean, they could be Pittsburgh for sure. It is at Pittsburgh, though. But either way, looking at it, you also host Cincy. You play that game overseas with the Vikings. Between all of that, they could definitely get one of those, and that would get you the 9. So this isn't one that I really love a lot, but this is a team that went 9-8 last year, and I don't see how they got any worse. So I'm basically betting on them to be at least as good as they were last year, and I think they could be better. It's not a very easy schedule there. But like I said, I got 8 100% wins there. And then a bunch of games that are up in the air. So they could get 9, they could get 10, they could get 11. Who knows? I see a lot of people taking them to win this division. I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah. Saints over 8.5 wins. That's going to be my only win total there. Bucks to win the division. We'll move on to the West. This is a pretty tough division as well right here. The Seahawks kind of dropping off, though, since they no longer have Russell Wilson. The defense has definitely been on the downspin the last few years. But the Rams here are your favorites, former Super Bowl champions last year. They're plus 125 to win the West, plus 170 for the 49ers. Cardinals are at plus 360 and Seahawks at plus 1,500. So the 49ers and Cardinals, of course, both made it as a wild card team last year as the Rams won the division. Win totals, you got Rams at 10.5, 49ers at 9.5, Cardinals down at 8.5, and Seahawks at 5.5. So definitely looks like they expect the Cardinals to be worse this year, and I'm kind of on that side as well. I'm not saying I would take the under on their wins. I'm not going to mess with the win totals for the 49ers or the Cardinals. The 49ers depends a lot on Trey Lance, man. I do like Trey Lance, and I hope he does really good. But if he doesn't, then you're probably looking closer to the underside. But this is a team I think gets to that 10 wins if Trey Lance is at least good enough, because they got a really good defense as long as they can stay healthy, and of course they got great weapons on the offensive side, good O-line, so it's a tough team. But of course the team I'm highest on here is the Rams. I think they could go on another run here, possibly get back to the Super Bowl. I think they definitely win the West here, taking them plus 125 there. And their win total of 10.5, I'm also going to go ahead and go over. That is minus 110. So we'll go ahead and run through their schedule real quick. So you open the year, Thursday Night Football, coming up here in a few days against the Bills. They're actually underdogs, which is insane because teams lately, I think it's the last 12 or 14 years or so, have only lost twice in week 1 after winning the Super Bowl. So for them to be underdogs is kind of crazy, but I mean, I understand it is against the team who was actually the favorite for this year's Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm not going to give them a loss here. I don't know if I'll give them the win either. We'll go ahead and leave the Buffalo game up in the air. We're not going to count it because we want to see if we can get to those 11 wins without counting that. So you get one in week 2 against Atlanta. I am kind of down on the Cardinals this year, especially earlier in the year without D-Hop on that offense. That just takes away one of those big play elements there. Of course, Kyler Murray can still make big plays regardless, but I'm going to give the Rams the win. And in AZ, that's 2 wins. At San Francisco, we'll go ahead and give them the loss there. They probably win the home matchup, though. They host the Cowboys and the Panthers and then the 49ers. So I'm going to give them all 3 of those games right there. That's 5 wins. Then you go to Tampa Bay. That's a tough one. They could get it, but we're not going to count that as a win. And then they're going to host Arizona in week 10. I think they get that. That's 6 wins. At the Saints, you possibly get number 7 there. They're definitely the better team, but New Orleans, tough place to play. I think they get 1 at least between that and at Kansas City. So we'll say they're at 7. And then you're going to get win number 8 against Seattle. I mean, come on. They host the Raiders and most likely get win number 9, but that is a game that they could possibly slip up on. At Green Bay, it'll be tough, but who knows? Green Bay, I don't know. They'll still be good, but will they be good enough to hang with the Rams? I don't know. Get the Broncos. That's a win. Come on. That's 10 for sure. Then you're going to get the second win against Seattle, so that gets you 11. So right there, that gets you over the 10.5, and that's without me even counting a couple games. Buffalo, I think they could get week 1. They could win at the Chargers. Like, this is a team I'm expecting minimum 11 wins. That gets you the over. We're good to go. And I could see them winning possibly 13 or 14. I just don't see a step back. I mean, yeah, you don't have Odell. Yeah, you don't have Robert Woods. But you do have Allen Robinson now. And Van Jefferson's still a solid third receiver. Like, this team definitely did not get worse. So go over 10.5 wins with the Rams for sure. And the only other win total I'm going with here is the Seahawks under the 5.5. So yeah, they went 7-10 last year. I need them to be at least 2 wins worse this year, which I think will definitely happen. And it's good value for that under. Plus 115 right there. So definitely like the value there. We'll go ahead and run through the Seahawks schedule. You're going to lose week 1 against Russ and the Broncos for sure. You're going to lose to San Fran. Here, I'll just try to count some wins. You get the Falcons. Not giving them Detroit, especially not in Detroit. Maybe you get the Giants for win number 2. Maybe you get the Panthers for win number 3, but I don't even like that. Give them the Jets for sure. That's like 3 or 4 wins. I don't see them winning more than 4 games. Like 4 wins is the most I see for the Seahawks. So definitely go under 5.5, man. Plus 115. That's wild. I can't believe we're getting plus odds for that. But yeah, go under 5.5 for the Seahawks, man. But yeah, it's gonna go ahead and that's gonna wrap things up for the divisions there. So I will go ahead and throw on the screen my round robin for the division winners. So what I did is I picked all 8 divisions. And if you don't know what a round robin is, it's basically a parlay, but it's a bunch of parlays where depending on how you play it, you can actually miss a leg or 2 and still hit. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up real quick so I can go through it. It's all the division winners I just gave you guys. Yeah, so the way I played it, I did round robin 6s. So since it's 8 legs, round robin 6s means that you can miss 2 of the legs and you can still win. Now, You won't win the max returns if you miss the 2 legs, of course. So how that works is, you see my total wager, $42. And when you look at the round robin sixes, it's times 28 wagers. So between these 8 legs, there are 28 different 6-leg parlay opportunities. So that's basically what the round robin does for you. So when you go to make the wager on a round robin, make sure that you type in what you want to put, and then that's going to get multiplied by however many wagers it is. Now, if I did this to miss by 1, like round robin sevens, it would be multiplied by 8, and you would be able to probably put a little more per wager. It's just then at that point you can only miss 1, which I don't hate it. I don't even hate playing this as a straight parlay. I actually did that and put a little extra on that to try to win a little extra. But the round robin way is like the higher play I made. And yeah, so we go Colts, Eagles, Rams, Ravens, Chargers, Vikings, Buccaneers, Bills. So yeah, if all these hit, it's a big return, man. $5,600 off the $42 investment. Now, even if I only hit 6, I went through and I deselected the Chargers and Vikings since those were the longest odds. So with the 6 legs remaining, I typed in $1.50 on just a straight parlay for that, and I believe it was still $300 or $400. Now it's been a couple of weeks since I made this, so I don't remember exactly, but it was at least $300 or $400 still. So I mean, hey, I'll take that even. But if you at least hit 6, you're good to go. If you hit 7, hey, you're even better to go. If you hit 8, it's a big win, and that's a nice little payout that you would see at the end of January or something like that. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the my outlook on the season. You know, for Super Bowl odds, I like the Bills to win it all, man. I definitely when I was watching that game with them against the Chiefs in the playoffs last year, like, I said it to myself as I was watching that game. I said, man, if the Bills lose this game, even if they win, I was like, dude, I think this team's winning the Super Bowl next year. I was like, wow, that game was insane, man. But yeah, what do you know, of course, when we get to the year, the Bills, of course, are the favorite. Sucks having to root for the favorite, but hey, that's how I was feeling watching that game last year, and I think they're going to really get the job done. It was plus 650, now it's plus 600, but I mean, hey, that's still good value. I know on FanDuel there is a promo that you can bet. I think the amount is different for everyone, but basically you will get your money back if whatever team you bet on to win the Super Bowl gets up to, I think, at least 10 wins. You'll get money back each week. So whatever amount they give you, it'll be that divided by 10 each week you get back. Each time they win a game during the regular season, you'll get that bonus put in your account. But yeah, I would go Bills. If you want to have more fun with the Super Bowl, maybe a team like the Eagles or like the Ravens, if they have a good bounce back year and Lamar goes crazy. But yeah, I'm all over the Bills, man. I really think they get it done. I wouldn't take a team like the Chiefs or the Packers. If anything, I'd definitely go AFC team. Like, out of the NFC, it'll probably be Buccaneers or Rams. So if you like either of them, go with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm all over the Bills, man. And then as far as like MVP, sticking with the Bills, Josh Allen, man. Let's see the odds. Yeah, he's plus 700, followed by Mahomes and Brady at plus 800. Plus 900, Herbert is not a bad call there. Plus 1,000 for Rodgers if you think he can win 3 in a row. I don't think it's going to happen without Devontae, but hey, if he has a really good year, they might have to consider it. If he can show he can still do it without his number 1 guy. But yeah, I like Josh Allen to win the MVP. If you don't want to take the favorite, go ahead and take Herbert at plus 900. I even like Stafford at plus 1,400. That's a solid one there. Derek Carr plus 2,500. Lamar Jackson plus 2,000. Jalen Hurts plus 2,500. All guys that you really never know. Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins plus 4,000. Like, you could have fun with this for sure. I mean, I'm no fun with, the favorites, but I got Josh Allen winning the MVP and the Bills winning the Super Bowl, man. All right, and before we get out of here, I will run through my Week 1 picks real quick. As we go on throughout the season, I will actually have reasoning for all the picks, in the weekly videos. It's just in this one, it's Week 1. I'll just throw the picks out there and whatnot, and yeah, that'll be it. We'll go ahead and get right into them. I'll take the Eagles minus 3.5 at the Lions. I like the Saints minus 5.5 at the Falcons. Ravens minus 6.5 at the Jets. We'll go Dolphins money line at minus 156. A little juice there, but if you like them, just go ahead and take minus 2.5. It's not a bad spread there, win by at least a field goal, but you get money line minus 156. Might as well just take that. Dolphins over the Patriots. And then Panthers money line minus 138 as they host the Browns. Spread's 2.5 there as well. We got 49ers minus 6.5 at the Bears. We'll go Commanders minus 2.5 at minus 140. That is an alternate spread. They were minus 3.5, which I still like, but it's one of those key numbers in the NFL. 3.5 is tough to take. You win by a field goal and you're screwed. I did like 3.5 with the Eagles, but I feel a lot more confident in them over the Lions than I do the Commanders over the Jaguars. So either way, Commanders minus 2.5 there against Jacksonville. And then I like Raiders and Chargers to go over the 52.5 there, minus 106. The spread on that game is 3.5. Chargers are at home. They are the favorite. I do like them to get the win there, but didn't want to lay 3.5. That could be a really good game. Expecting a lot of points, so over 52.5 there for Raiders, Chargers. And then Buccaneers money line, minus 124 will be the last one as they go to Jerry World and take on the Cowboys. Spread's 1.5 there, but yeah, I think the Buccaneers definitely get the win. I know last year they had a good game to start the year, but Buccaneers will get the job done. So yeah, that's all the straight plays there. And then teaser of the week. I will be doing a teaser every week. I did it last season, and I hit quite a few of them. Missed a lot of them by one leg. And I usually keep them around 5 or 6 legs, but hey, it's week 1. Screw it. Let's go with 8 leg plus 5. That'll get you plus 1,600 on FanDuel. Get the Rams up to 7 plus 7.5. I think they keep it within a touchdown there against Buffalo. Definitely think they have a chance to win that game, but either way, plus 7.5. Nice, safe way to get them there. Get the Colts down to minus 3.5. Get the Saints at a pick 'em against the Falcons. The Colts, I believe, was against the Texans. That should be easy. Ravens down to minus 1.5. Get the 49ers minus 1.5. Washington at the plus 1.5. Vikings plus 7.5 against the Packers there. I think the Vikings at home might get that win there, but keep it at least within a touchdown. And then to wrap it up, Broncos minus 1.5 on Monday night. Russ will definitely get the job done against Seattle. So yeah, 8 leg plus 5 there. I will have a teaser of the week every single week. And yeah, player props are something that I will look into as well. It's just don't usually do those until like the morning of the game. So be on the lookout on Twitter. Follow us at Zone N Sports, as I will put out some parlays with player props and touchdown picks and all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll have plenty of more picks, and like I said, I'll have reasoning and whatnot in the weeks going forward. But yeah, I just wanted to get the week 1 picks out there for now. So yeah, that'll go ahead and wrap things up for us. Hope you guys enjoyed this 2022-23 NFL season outlook. Went over some division winners, some win total over-unders that we like. Gave out the round robin that we had as we picked all 8 division winners this season. And then, yeah, went over some week 1 picks. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys, make some money. Let's go week 1. Definitely excited to get the NFL season going. Hopefully week 1 goes better here than it did for college football, because that was rough. But, yeah, that'll do it. Like I said, follow us on Twitter at Zone N Sports. And leave a like on the video. Would appreciate that a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and click that notification bell so that way you don't ever miss a video. And be on the lookout for our week 2 college football picks. That'll be out soon as well. And yeah, that'll do it. Hope you guys all have a nice day. Peace.